45, and that means it's time for our weekly feature, Chicago's Untold Stories with the team, the fabulous team of DNA Info. And there, we're talking about stories that didn't get a lot of attention during the week. And joining us are senior editor Seamus Toomey and reporters Serena Dye and Adeshina Emmanuel. Thank you so much for joining us. Did I get that right? Adeshina? Adeshina, I've been working on that one. Let's talk about you, Serena. We're going to start with you and the story that you had about a Chicago city worker.
Yeah, well, he's a former city Chicago worker, and people know him as Trapper John. He's kind of a
Trapper John.
Trapper John. He's kind of a character. He has kind of dedicated his life to trapping feral cats. For years and years, he would sometimes get up at 3:30 in the morning, spend hours and hours trapping feral cats because he believes that it's inhumane for cats to be out and about and living in the wilds. And you know, not everyone agrees with him.
So these are pictures of all the cats that he's gotten off the streets?
Oh, yeah, he keeps an album and with some of the cats that he's been able to rescue and even a couple dogs that he has rescued. He was doing that even though he's been fired from...
How did you find him?
You know, well,
that's the job of a good reporter.
Yeah, exactly. There's this organization called Treehouse Humane Society, and one of the things that they promote is trap and return. And it's this thing that the county has actually gotten board on as well, where they take the cats, the feral cats, and they take them in, they sterilize them, they vaccinate them, and they actually return them out to be taken care of. And they actually sent out a flyer about Trapper John saying, maybe watch out for this guy, because they think he might be trapping cats that are already safe and registered. So it's a very controversial issue. He doesn't like it, but
check out that story on DNA Info. And Adeshina, let's get your story. You found something interesting too.
Well, yeah, you know, Common was here in town. The rapper Common was here on the near west side for an art opening earlier this week, and I was able to speak with him about a few topics, but mainly we spoke about the new generation of Chicago rappers, the drill scene.
And what did he have to say about that?
Well, he had a message. One was, you know, you can see it on our website, just watch what you tweet, watch what you put out there on social media, because it's something that has backfired. It's something that is, well, potentially, you know, maybe stirred things up, beefs out there in the street. It's had some consequences. A
lot of people don't realize just how deep Common really is. He's not just about making music, and he's got a great series, Hell on Wheels, that's out on, is it AMC?
AMC.
But they really don't realize just how conscientious he is about what's going on in Chicago.
He's very socially conscious. You know, he's a veteran of the scene, the local rap scene. He's been all over the world, but he still remembers this city, and I think that city has a big mark on him, and he cares about it. And he obviously came here with the message, you know, for rappers who, you know, he's experienced beef as well early in the 90s with the West Side Connection. People forget about this with Ice Cube. And, you know, Louis Farrakhan stepped in and, you know, sort of mediated for them. And it was right after Biggie and Tupac had died. And people didn't know what could happen, how it could escalate. And so he's not just, you know, he's speaking from experience.
Adeshina, good interview then, huh?
Yeah, it was great.
Seamus, what you got for us? You got something going on in the neighborhoods?
Well, we had a fun one that he had worked on as well. The Andersonville connection with Uptown. Is it Andersonville? Is it Uptown? It's one of those great neighborhood battles. What side of the street am I on? I'd rather be in Andersonville, maybe not in Uptown. Foster's the dividing line, but it's spilling over, and someone suggested the idea of calling it south of Foster or SoFo, and that is not picking it up. That is not catching on.
It looks like one neighborhood over there, but you say there's a huge difference.
There's a difference,
and the people that live there want you to know it.
But it's getting blurred now. As Andersonville gets hotter, it's definitely getting blurred. In Uptown, I think Uptown says, hey, wait a minute, that's our part of the town, but nobody, you know, no one wants to call it SoFo.
Okay, there you go. Serena, Adeshina, and Seamus, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thanks for having us.